Today, we peel back the velvet curtains to explore her opulent realm, her wealth, her influence, her style, and her legacy. Sheikha Mozah bint Nasser Al-Missned isn't your typical royal consort. Born in 1959 in Al-Khor, Qatar, she grew up in a politically active family. Her father, Nasser bin Abdullah Al-Missned, was an outspoken critic of Qatar's ruling structure and spent years in exile. That early exposure to politics and reform would shape her approach to power. In 1977, Mozah married Sheikha Mozah bin Khalifa Al Thani, who would become Emir of Qatar in 1995. Unlike many royal wives who remain behind palace walls, Mozah emerged as a visible force in public life, attending international conferences, representing Qatar abroad, and overseeing education reform at home. She became a global face of modern Gulf royalty, poised, educated, and unapologetically influential. She earned a sociology degree from Qatar University and later received multiple honorary doctorates. Fluent in English and Arabic, Mozah is known for her eloquence and diplomatic ease. When her husband abdicated in 2013 and their son Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani became Emir, her influence didn't fade, it matured. Today, she is more than a queen mother figure. She is a global player in education, philanthropy, and diplomacy. She chairs powerful boards, oversees the Qatar Foundation, and commands respect across royal and political circles worldwide. Mozah's story is not just one of inherited privilege, it's about strategic power. She transformed a traditionally ceremonial role into a platform for national reform, international outreach, and image building for a nation still carving its global identity. Try to measure Sheikha Mozah's wealth is like counting the stars over Doha, dazzling and impossible. The Qatari royal family's fortune, tied to the country's oil and gas reserves, exceeds $335 billion, making them one of the richest dynasties on earth. Mozah herself reportedly controls about $15 billion in personal assets, though many believe the real figure is far higher once you include trusts, art holdings, and international property portfolios. Her life is a masterclass in refined luxury, from her palatial residences in Doha to multi-million-dollar estates in London's exclusive Regent's Park. Every property is curated for perfection. The interiors feature European craftsmanship, rare marble, custom chandeliers, and curated art collections. Her fashion sense is legendary. Mozah blends traditional modesty with haute couture Chanel, Valentino, Dior, Jean Paul Gaultier, creating a signature look that fashion editors call royal futurism. Her wardrobe reportedly exceeds $1 billion in designer couture, jewelry, and custom accessories. She doesn't just wear brands. She redefines them. The family's travel life matches the extravagance. Private jets, fleets of Rolls-Royces, and access to one of the world's most luxurious super yachts, Al Luzail, valued at around $500 million. But beyond the material, Mozah's lifestyle projects cultural sophistication. Every outfit, palace renovation, and public appearance is intentional, blending Islamic values with global elegance. Her image is part of Qatar's national branding effort, a symbol that says, we are wealthy, cultured, and modern on our own terms. Behind the couture and luxury lies real political and social power. Sheikha Mozah wields influence not just as the Emir's wife or mother, but as one of the architects of Qatar's modern identity. Her most significant creation, the Qatar Foundation for Education, Science, and Community Development, launched in 1995, transformed Doha's desert outskirts into Education City, a 12-square-kilometer campus hosting branches of top global universities like Georgetown, Northwestern, and Carnegie Mellon. Through it, Mozah turned Qatar into a regional hub for innovation and higher learning. She also founded Education Above All, a global nonprofit working to ensure education in conflict zones, helping millions of out-of-school children in Africa and Asia. Through Silitech, another initiative, she focuses on youth employment and entrepreneurship. Her influence extends into healthcare. 2. With the creation of Sidra Medical and Research Center, a state-of-the-art women's and children's hospital designed to rival the world's best. Internationally, Mozah sits on several UN committees and advisory boards, meeting global leaders from Washington to Paris. Her polished diplomacy and social grace make her one of the most recognized Arab women on the global stage. In many ways, Sheikha Mozah is Qatar's soft power engine. Her projects build not just institutions, but reputation. They transform petrodollars into prestige, showcasing Qatar as educated, progressive, and humanitarian. Through Mozah, the monarchy learned that influence isn't only about wealth or politics. It's about legacy, what remains long after the power shifts. For all her global prestige, Sheikha Mozah's world is not without contradictions. Qatar's transformation from a desert peninsula to one of the richest states on earth came at enormous social cost, particularly to migrant workers who built its skyline. Reports of long hours, withheld pay, and harsh conditions have dogged the country for years, especially in the lead-up to the 2022 World Cup. Critics point out that while Mozah promotes education and empowerment abroad, many domestic reforms, including those around women's rights and labor protections, have lagged behind. Within Qatar, women still face guardianship laws that limit independence. Dissent and press freedom remain restricted. There's also the question of transparency. Royal wealth is interwoven with state funds, and it's nearly impossible to separate what belongs personally to Sheikha Mozah and what belongs to the nation. Palaces, jets, and art acquisitions often serve dual purposes: private luxury and state representation. Yet, Mozah's image as a progressive reformer is not entirely misplaced. She has used her platform to push for modernization within traditional boundaries, advocating for education and cultural dialogue. But to some, she represents a polished face of an unequal system, one that projects modernity abroad while maintaining tight control at home. This paradox, progressive optics versus conservative realities, defines her legacy. She is both an agent of change and a guardian of tradition, balancing on a tightrope between image and ideology, global praise and domestic caution. Ashion and architecture choices speak to a new era of modernity, one that blends faith with ambition, tradition with futuristic vision. Through her, Qatar communicates sophistication, stability, and progress. And finally, legacy and contradiction. Her story reminds us that great wealth often exists beside great inequality. The same nation funding global education still wrestles with basic human rights issues. Yet, Mozah's initiatives continue to inspire millions, especially women who see in her a model of power and poise. In the end, Sheikha Mozah's Trillionaire life isn't just about money, it's about mastery. She mastered the art of influence, image, and legacy, shaping how the world sees both Qatar and the modern Arab woman. If the word trillionaire feels hyperbolic, perhaps that's because it tries to capture a life where luxury merges with legacy and where what's visible is only the surface of a much deeper story. Thanks for joining. If you enjoyed this dive into one of the world's most fascinating royal lives, hit like, subscribe, and we'll meet again with another story from the world's elite.